Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about the classic experiment, transmission of aggression through limitation of aggressive model by Albert Bandura, Dorothy Rose and Sheila Rose 1961. We'll explore how children learn aggression, the design of the study and what the result were and why it matters. In slide 2, we'll be discussing about the learning objectives, where we first covered Bandura's social learning theory, how observational learning works, then the key features of the 1961 study, what the researchers did and why, the next experiment design and procedure, the major findings, finally the broader implication, especially for families and education and policy. In slide 3, we'll be discussing about the background and theory. Bandura challenged behaviorist ideas that learning required direct reinforcement. Instead, he proposed social learning theory. Children can learn by watching others. Aggression, particularly, can be modeled and imitated. The diagram here shows the process. A model performs behavior, and observer watches. Then the observer may show the behavior themselves later. Bandura's social learning theory proposes that people can learn new behaviors by observing others. This was a major shift from the dominant behaviorist perspective, which claimed all learning is a result of direct reinforcement. In this study, Bandura aimed to test whether children who imitate aggressive behavior just by watching a model or without being rewarded or punished. In slide 4, we'll be discussing about the research questions and hypotheses. The study had several aims to see if children would replicate aggressive behavior after seeing it, even when the model is gone, to see whether non-aggressive models would reduce aggression, to test whether children imitate more strongly when the model is of the same sex, and whether boys are more likely than girls to imitate aggression. This setup predictions the study tested. In slide 5, we'll be discussing about the experimental setup, where 72 children from Stanford Nursery School, split equally by gender, 36 boys and 36 girls. They were assigned into 3 groups: those who saw an aggressive model, those who saw a non-aggressive model, and a control group with no model. Children were observed one by one in a playroom setting with an adult either behaving aggressively or not, depending on condition. In slide 6, we'll be talking about the methods and procedures. The procedure had 3 phases. Phase 1 was modeling. Children observed adult models behaving aggressively towards a Bobo doll or non-aggressively. In phase 2, induced mild frustration active. Toys were shown and then taken away to arouse aggression potential. In phase 3, children were brought into a room with a Bobo doll and other toys to see if they would imitate aggression. Both physical and verbal aggressive behaviors were recorded. In slide 7, the key findings and the results were recorded. The results clearly showed that children exposed to aggressive models acted more aggressively themselves. Boys showed more aggressive physical aggression than girls. Same-sex models had a stronger influence. For example, boys more influenced by male aggressive models. Also, children who saw a non-aggressive model showed less aggression than even those in the control group without any model exposure. In slide 8, we'll be discussing about the discussion and implications. These findings solidly support social learning theory. Behavior can be learned purely through observation without needing direct reinforcement. They also draw attention to real-world issues like how media violence or aggressive role models impact children. For parenting, it means parents' behaviors matters in education. Teachers and caregivers need to be aware of modeling, and at the policy level, considerations about media regulations or content exposure become important. Slide 9 is conclusion, where we concluded that children do learn aggression by watching others. Observational learning, imitation, and even gender norms shape what behavior is reproduced. Bandura's study transformed developmental psychology by showing that what we observe has strong power to influence behavior even when reinforcement is absent. It remains foundational in understanding how aggression and social behaviors are required. In the last slide is the reference where the sources are used, especially the original article by Bandura, Rose and Rose 1961. If you want further reading, I can share an additional article and critiques to you. Thank you.